So the U.S. is making up some ground, as we saw the Romanians do earlier on the vault. It's been a good event for the U.S. John Roethlisberger next.
John will do a double twisting Sukahara. He'll do it in a tucked position. We've seen this vault by both a Chinese and a Romanian gymnast. Because it's in tuck, his start score is 9-6. Oh, baby. That was amazing that he hung on to that vault. He was so under-rotated, his forehead almost hit the floor, and can't believe he didn't put his hands down.
Leric only an 8.9 on parallel bars. And here's his teammate, Sandro Nistor.
Typically in gymnastics competition, you save your better gymnasts for the end. Nistor has the best potential score for the Romanians, does that very well on this event. Oh boy. That's a perfect example. See, this is what happens. That's a highly valued skill. Would have brought in some bonus points. That combination, if successful, would have been great. But if you can't make it, you certainly shouldn't do it. Now he looks a little bit rattled walking around in that handstand. It's too bad because that was a potential very big routine for Romania. That's going to hurt.
They needed some big scores, Tim, and this routine we're not going to see anywhere near a 9.0.
John Roethlisberger scored at 9.10 on his vault.
P-bars. Jason, Gary, Steve, Jay, John.
Head coach Ron Brandt going over the order for the next event. He told me before the meet, don't know why, Tim, but I just got a good feeling about today.
There's Chen's high bar score. And now on high bar, we see Wang Xun.
Remember, the first two athletes from this country went down on the dismount. It's not over until your feet are firmly planted after the dismount.
I was actually surprised that they put this athlete up so late in the lineup. He's actually a very nice-looking gymnast. Show his release skill right here. Deals with it well. But really does not have the level of difficulty that you need to bring in a big score. Now this is difficult to do, folks. This is a very difficult event, challenging exercise. And once again, we're seeing it all day long. His maximum score, 9.0 on this event.
And as the teams march on to the new apparatus, we are down to only 2 rotations remaining in the competition. Romania still leads, but the U.S. has moved closer. Welcome back to Cincinnati, where the U.S. team, once nearly 4.5 points behind, is back in the meet.
And you know, just last year with the old rules, 1.8 would have been impossible for the USA to get into the top spot, but now it's still anybody's ball game.
Here's young Jason Gatson of the U.S. on parallel bars.
This is one of Jason's better events. Does a lot of interesting elements, very intricate work. None of the major release type skills that we've seen from some of the Chinese, but very, very difficult and worth a lot. Nice skill right there. Now watch this right here. This all happens very quickly. Lots of combination work. Hop right to the side of the bar. Very nicely done. His dismount double somersault.
You know, he has been totally unfazed by this competition. Remember, his first international event, and he has done exactly what the coaches have asked him to do.
Large, baby. Nice. Awesome.
The Romanian team with a tenuous hold on first place now, as Urzica with his high bar routine.
And you know, just moments ago, he had big problems in the warm-ups. A release skill that comes right off the bat. Very, very difficult. He'll do it in combination and then do a skill called a def. It's a flyaway with 1.5 twists. It's right here. but he doesn't do it. Takes it out of his routine, only does a flyaway with a half turn, much easier.
Second very difficult release skill coming up right here with a full twist.
Real tricky. No, oh!
Not even close.
Yeah, you could see right from the start there, his heels just didn't get far enough over his head. The object is obviously to keep the body close enough to the bar so that you can regress. That means the legs must be shooting almost over the top of the bar, and it's not even close.
Thank you, coach.
So that is a fall for the Romanian team. Remember, you are able to drop the lowest score. Urzica struggling today on pommel horse's best event and now high bar.
It has been a disappointing afternoon for Urzica, hurting the Romanians' chances of holding on to that lead. Here's Chen Zhenyu, who takes the floor exercise.
Now, these guys have traditionally been very strong on the floor exercise, but, you know, the U.S. is getting so close to this team, they can't afford the same type of mistakes that they just experienced on high bar.
But it is a different game, and right there, he's way off. In the past code of points, it would not have been such a disaster, but he was supposed to do a pass that would have given him 5/10 of bonus, and instead, he picks up a deduction, and he only gets 1/10 back. What that means is China is struggling here on the floor exercise. You know, every time they get into this situation where they need to be a little bit more aggressive, they get tentative. They get worried about making another mistake, and because they approach it that way, they do make another mistake. This is a weak exercise for China on floor.
Chinese continue to struggle, as do the Romanians, while the U.S. seems to be the team with momentum at the moment. The parallel bar score a moment ago for Jason Gatson, 8.950. Not a great score for him. Will that hurt the U.S. in its catch-up mode?
Well, right now we've just seen a fall from Romania, and I'm sure the Chinese score is going to be lower than that, so actually it might not be that bad for the USA squad.
Leric here on high bar.
It's his release skill, very nicely done. He does 3 in a row right here. A little bit crooked on his second full turn over the bar. Supposed to keep that skill going and actually do 1.5 twists, but didn't quite get it around. Somewhat unorthodox dismount, travels over the bar.
And a moment ago, Chen's score on floor exercise was 8.3, only 8.3. Here's his teammate Li Bo.
And you know, this team, when you're counting 4 scores, you would like to drop an 8.3.
While that's remarkable, he mounted with a double back. It's
way too easy.
But this is the critical pass right here. And actually, very little bonus.
Same skill we saw from Steve McCain at the start of the competition. Gets lots of bonus points.
A little bit of a struggle on his plans. You are required to do an element similar to that. A strength hold. No way this routine can get a big score, just not enough difficulty there. And a very simple exercise. Tom, this is exactly what I've been talking about. When they get into a situation where they really need to perform, they get conservative. They start taking elements out of their routines, and sometimes they start doing things they haven't been practicing, and they make mistakes on top of it as well. This opens the door a little bit for the USA.
Rotation 5 continues in Cincinnati on the high bar. Cristian Leric 8.750. The Romanians definitely are struggling. Urzica's score even worse, 8.250.
And they certainly cannot afford another mistake.